Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Alan Smith, and today I'm going to show you my new expansion into scratch building terrain for my wargaming. 28mm buildings, 15mm buildings, now. Okay, so basically a week and a half ago, I stumbled onto and was directed to a YouTube channel that I come to really like. It's called Little Wars TV, and they were showing how they were making some of their scratch built buildings for their gaming sessions. And I thought, hey, I'm getting into the American War of Independence, more Napoleonics, more skirmish games, and I need colonial, French colonial, American colonial buildings, barns, fence rows, new tree stands. So I decided, hey, I'm going to start doing some scratch building, a whole new avenue in the hobby that I really have never expanded into. So here's what I did. I decided I'm going to scratch build. I'm going to see if I like it. So I went ahead and made a small investment. I picked up some tools. If you're looking to get into doing more scratch building, which I highly recommend, I'm finding it really fun. A lot of sitting down and figuring things out and measuring, and that has actually been enjoyable. I just went out on Amazon, picked up a T-square. It's aluminum, cheap. These are less than $10. Picked up some other tools, some triangles of different angles. And you see how they're kind of small, right? And they're aluminum. It comes in a little kit. You can get these on Amazon. A nice little aluminum metric ruler. I've got a solid aluminum yardstick, line measuring. And clear ones, a couple of clear ones. Glue gun. And this is important because this thing, it really makes the process go quick. My prime materials, guys, is foam core. Now I went to the dollar store. You can get a nice size sheet of foam core. This is after I made 2 buildings and a barn, a small barn, and that's what's left out of one sheet. So you can go, this goes a long way, but you can get an idea of the size. I forget the exact measurements, but it's roughly like 2 foot by 3 foot, something like that. For $1 at the dollar store. I went ahead and just bought a whole case, so I have plenty. And the material is really fun to work with. Now you can see the thickness of this is, they're calling this, they were calling it 1/8 of an inch, but I think it's definitely thicker than that. It's more like a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm gonna go around this winter to some of the local craft stores and see if I can get it in very thicknesses. You know, maybe even like 1/2 of an inch, you know, 1/4 of an inch, you know, 1/8 of an inch, a true 1/8 of an inch, you know, something that's nice and thin. But then again, I've been using a lot of poster board. Now, at the dollar store, you can get 2 sheets of this for 50 cents. I started with just a simple box concept of just a basic box colonial farmhouse. Now, if you haven't been on my Facebook page, I highly recommend you do, because I put more content on Facebook on a regular basis on current projects I'm working on. Now that is Alan Smith Gaming Group, and it's on Facebook. Get on there, send me a request, I'll approve you right away, and you can stay more abreast of the things that I'm working on. And feel free, guys, those of you that are on my Facebook group already, please share your projects, please share the things you're working on, so we can share ideas and things that we can all be working on in the future. Okay, so here's what I started out with, just a basic farmhouse. And you see it turned out really well. And as it turns out, I was told by a friend that, you know, you can buy balsa wood siding, balsa wood roof sections, you know, online from local hobby shops, and use that for building your buildings. You can even buy pre-made plastic windows of various scales, doors, chimneys. But I got to thinking about it. By the time I buy those things, put it together, I could either just go ahead and buy an MDF kit for, like, say, a company like Sarissa, or I could just stick with my original thought, which is to do scratch build. And right now I'm going with scratch build. I really like this, using toothpicks for the trim. I just put some gloss on the windows. I basically did a flat black, and then I did a mix of light and dark blue, and just dry brush the windows. And you can see there's kind of a shine. Now there's no panes in the windows. I'm still working on that, fabricating that so that there's window panes. My other option is I could take some white, in this case since the house is white, I could just freehand painted panes on the windows, but I left it this way. It's not really that noticeable of a factor. I just use BBs for the doorknobs, right? So, and how am I getting this texture? If you go to Little Worse TV, he does the same technique, of course, and that is by using strips of contact paper, or I'm sorry, construction paper. Why do I keep calling it contact paper? But there are various lengths and strips, and this is the length I'm going at. It's approximately 1/4 inch. And I just get a sheet of construction paper. I lay it out on my grid over there. I mark off the distances for the strips, and then I just use a cutter. You can get these at any office supply store. They're really cheap, less than 20 bucks. Amazon has them too. And that way you can just cut lots of strips. And then I use the strips to make the siding. And you can see how realistic the siding looks when you use that technique. It really gives it a great effect. And you essentially do the same thing with the shingles. You're just cutting out strips. You take your X-Acto blade, measure out with a pencil the distances you want. You can play with this all you want. You can do different thicknesses of siding. You can do different textures and types of roofing, which I'm going to be doing on my 15 millimeters here. House fell over. So here's the shell for my 15 millimeter farmhouse. So like I said, everything I build in 28 mil, I'm also going to be building 15 mil, since I'll be playing both scales. And you see how I've got this going on here, starting at the bottom and layering them just like putting on real siding, and just wrapping the construction paper around. Now that's the first tip I have for you guys if you're looking to get into scratch building houses. Here's what I basically, from my first prototype to this, I'm already starting to make improvements on the construction process to make things go quicker. This prototype, I went ahead and built, framed in the windows and the doors, and what I did was I just made little templates, door template, window template, and I marked them as a window template, door template. And I keep these to the side for future projects, so I can literally just take this and you just outline this with a pencil where you want your windows. And I just eyeballed it. There was no measuring of where I put the windows. It was strictly eyeballing. And then I realized, oh God, now I gotta cut all these smaller strips. And I figured out a way. There was a quick way that I did it. I don't need to go into that because I'm jettisoning that technique, because it took much longer, obviously, to cut out everything individually. So the method I'm using this time around is I'm literally, like I said, I build the shell complete with the bottom, so it really makes it a firm structure. Last time I used the foam core for the roof. This time I'm using poster card for the roof line, since it's actually more of a realistic roof line being thinner like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just wrapping them, but you can see I alternate the seams, so I'm not just wrapping it around, you know, in the same configuration every time, each row. I alternate, which makes it look more realistic. And then what I'm going to do is, with poster card, I'm going to just take my forms. I'm going to make little 15 millimeter doors and windows, and I'm going to just go on poster card and prefab the windows and the doors, and literally just glue them on the outside. It's going to be a lot quicker that way. And then I can play with the different materials. I could maybe use balsa wood for the doors. I could take the little windows and I can frame them. I could maybe go ahead and do my window panes, which I haven't figured that out. I will share that with you when I crack that code on making the little windows without having to go buy a package of pre-made plastic windows. And then the way I get the shine to make it look like glass is I use a gloss overcoat on the windows to give it that shininess. Okay, so there's a tip. And then this is going to be my simple little basic little barn. If 15 mil, and I'll also fabricate one like this in 28 mil. But I can tell you it's a lot of fun. The hot glue gun makes the assembly go together really quick. As soon as you put the glue on and put the pieces, start assembling the pieces of your building, it dries very quick. So that's the advantage to that. You can almost use it like caulk when you're done too. You can get up into the nooks and crannies of the roof line. Any little gaps where you didn't make perfect cuts at the bottom, you can fill that with your glue gun. So it's a really good material to use. It's cheap. Glue gun on Amazon was less than 10 bucks. It came with plenty of glue sticks. You can get those anywhere for cheap. So yeah, I wanted to share this whole journey so far with this process. I'm really liking it. It's fun. I find it very relaxing and soothing, just like the painting and the building of model kits, and also the, just the miniature assembly. So the other thought with this too, guys, is this. There's some days I come down to the shop and I really just don't feel like painting that day, so this gives me another option of something I can work on for games I'm building or game systems I'm developing. And I can alternate. I can do like maybe some miniature builds. I can do maybe some priming here at the paint booth, or I could do detail painting. I could assemble some sort of terrain. Since essentially right now, until we finish off the man cave, the gamer's den, I'm more of a builder collector right now, and building my collection up so that when we have a really nice gaming space to play in, let's face it, nobody wants to play in a cinder block basement, right? So I'm looking to up the game down here, make it really nice, make it very comfortable, and then building, like I said in the past, a gaming group. So really right now, this is filling that extra little void of getting things built up, getting things prepared for when I do have the new game table built and the walls framed in, and we got excellent lighting down here. We can really have our selection of like a whole host of different types of games, cabinets full of terrain, and we can literally just do anything we want. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to watch the videos. Please comment, please like the videos. Please share my videos with any of your friends and cohorts that are in the gaming community. We're looking to get the channel to grow. It has really grown a lot since we did the name change, and it's really headed to the point where I can get that Amazon web store up and running, so you guys can all get discounts on all the stuff that I buy here in the shop and the things I use here in the shop. All right, thanks guys. See you next time. Ciao.